Hey, I'm Dave Farrell with the Florida Insider Fishing Report. And today we're going to be talking to Ron Hueston about how to catch redfish and how to catch them on top water, soft baits, and live shrimp.
Captain Ron Hueston, I handle the Southwest region, and we're going to talk about a few tactics I use for catching redfish in the Southwest region. It's relatively pretty simple. Probably the easiest thing to do in the Southwest region, fall through winter, is going to be your basic popping cork with a live shrimp or a noise-making cork with a live shrimp with a split shot. Relatively throw this out, clack it a couple times, let it set, clack it a couple times.
Redfish killer.
Redfish killer. This is probably the most common.
All right.
Second most, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Second most common is going to be when you're not using a cork, popping cork or noise-making cork, it's going to be the knocker rig. Redfish have a keen sense of smell. A lot of times when you have a bait drifting with a cork, the smell seems to tend to get away from them. So with a knocker rig,
Stays down there in their zone.
Right.
And that's a, what kind of hook is that?
That's a trocar circle hook.
Yeah.
With a 1/2 ounce slip sinker, so relatively your braid will go to your fluorocarbon. The sinker slips, so when the fish picks it up, sinker stays like that, takes off with it, and with the circle hook, you just basically reel.
You like to catch them on top water too, right?
That's probably one of my favorite ways to catch them.
I just like to watch them eat.
Well, another thing too about the top water is it's a good search bait.
Right.
Redfish has got a funny mouth at the bottom. A lot of times he'll miss the plug, but it'll give you an idea when you're searching where that fish is at.
What kind do you like here?
You know, I particularly like on the more windy days, this particular color, Perfect Ghost, the Berkeley Hijacker. On the more windier days, it squats a little bit more, and with the saltwater hooks in the back, it's got a little bit more squat. I generally take off the center hook. That way I've just got 2 hooks, but if you got a more subtle day, light wind, and the baits are a little bit smaller, I tend to go with the natural color of a pilchard or a shiner with the jaywalker. Floats a little bit more on the surface, doesn't squat as much, and when you make a cast, it doesn't make a noise as bad.
Hits the water softly.
Yes, hits the water softly, more subtle.
Got a nice little rattle in there as well.
Right, either that, and then another thing I like
You really want to make an announcement.
Yeah, and what I really like is the Chapo.
Right, that thing makes, like I said, it makes an announcement.
Well, and the thing about it is, one thing that impresses me with these Berkeley lures, boy, you can cast them a long way. So you can go 20-pound braid, you can cast them a long ways.
They're all designed to cast really well.
And if you're searching, this is a perfect search bait because it's sort of in a way like a buzz bait. It's constantly making a noise.
Rip it.
Right.
Gurgle it.
Right. You can have a couple different options. Steady retrieve, zip, zip, pause, zip, zip, pause, zip, zip, pause. And if they're not taking the top waters, Dave, and you've located where they are, your simple...
Switch to your soft baits.
Simple soft plastics. Or if somebody else is on the boat and they're missing the top waters, you have one guy with a jig, you know, bass, assassin, shrimp on a jig head.
That's what I always do. I like to have one guy doing one thing and one guy doing the other to see which one starts working first.
Yeah, and it's probably one of the simplest ways to catch them all through my region. In fact, through the whole state of Florida, you can use these basic same principles.
Things, correct.
And I like to use 20-pound braid. You know, diamond braid has impressed the hell out of me. And I can tell you one thing. I've been throwing this braid for 2 years.
It's amazing.
Not one wind knot.
No.
Not one wind knot.
No, that's an amazing thing, too.
And it's because when I throw out, I don't hand crank my bail over.
Right, you always turn it over by hand.
I turn it over by hand. And
take a look at it, make sure it's not going over the top.
That's correct. Not one wind knot in 2 years, and simply the fluorocarbons.
Yeah.
20 to 40-pound fluorocarbon.
Great leader.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
No. And in your cleaner water, if you feel they see the regular fluorocarbon, you go with your pink, and they shouldn't see it. But probably some of the simplest things to use in the Southwest region.
All these things work everywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to see more tips and tricks like this, make sure you subscribe to Rick Murphy's YouTube channel.